you with the Bulls, you get hurt, y'all #1 in the East at the time. What do you think y'all season would have been like had you not been hurt? How you feel about the team? Y'all have a squad. Like, how'd you feel about it?
I mean, it's going to be a big what-if. I mean, for me, I feel bad just for the GMs just because I feel like they made the perfect team around me. And I felt like I was involved in – that was the most I've ever been involved in an organization. And I finally got the perfect team, that I felt like to fit my game and play my way and really just do, what I wanted to do.
All right, we're here another episode from The Point by your favorite point. Here again with my boy Winston. Again.
What up?
And here again, man. Actually got my second guest. Honored to have my boy, a guy who I've been a fan of since in high school, been following him. Been a year older than me, been killing it since then. And welcome to have Lonzo Ball with you, man.
Man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. We was going to start back from the beginning. You growing up in Chino. What was it like growing up as a kid here in Chino? Just being around your brothers and your family all around here.
One word that comes to mind, just fun, bro. I mean, to be honest, Chino's a small town, not a lot of stuff going on. So me and my brothers were outside just playing all the time with my dad.
I caught him.
Yeah, he said, you know what? I'll get him out.
He look like Slim Shady.
Look at that. I'll get him out quick. Oh, shoot. Oh, this dude ain't missing, man.
Come on, bro. I really do this. Air ball.
That ain't no air ball.
Oh, my goodness.
That ain't gonna go in. Oh.
And from a young age, I started playing hoop at 6, and all I remember is just playing all the way up until now. So,
what's the age difference between y'all?
Me and Gelo are a year apart, and then Melo's 4 years from me.
So y'all grew up playing. Man, I can only imagine y'all a lot of fights in the crib. What was
growing up, I'm not gonna lie, it was always like stagger, like me, G, then Melo, because Melo was always so small. Like he didn't hit a growth spurt until I actually went to college. I came back, and he was overseas at the time. Mm-hmm. I came back home, he was like right here. I'm like, damn, bro, like he was just 5'6" when I was playing with you.
Yeah.
So when he got taller, then the one-on-ones became more competitive, but. Early on in life, it was always me and G going against each other just because Melo was so small.
Speaking of which, where is Chino, bro? Like, we're from Oklahoma, so, like, we don't know the Cali
inland, more inland. So, like, if you're coming from here, it's probably like an hour if you go in.
Got you.
To the east.
Okay.
So, really in the middle of nowhere, bro. Chino Hills is small. If you know some towns by there, you might know, like, Corona's like 15 minutes from there.
Okay.
Riverside's like 30 minutes from there.
Got it. I think it's safe to say that most of America, it seemed like, who was around the hoop community kind of knew your story and knew your family's story. You guys had a spotlight that was shown on y'all from a very, very early on in the onset. We know you come from an athletic family. What are some of those earliest memories of hoops for you, whether it be watching your dad, playing against your siblings, whatever that was?
Yeah, as a kid, I used to watch my dad and my uncles hoop all the time. They're from South Central, so I'll go up there every weekend and watch them play and get in some runs when I got a little older, like, 8, 9, 10, around there. But early memories is just, shooting around, watching them play, first and foremost. And then at home, my dad was always having basketball on the TV. We watched hella, like, hard work classics, like all the Lakers, all the, like, just the old teams, how they used to play. And that's kind of how he got us playing. He wanted us to be like the Showtime Lakers. So when I started playing basketball, I've always played that way my whole life.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, getting into high school, I had to ask. Obviously, I got a teammate that you played with, Migo. I know he's a character, bro.
Yeah.
But what was it like? I mean, playing with your brothers. You played a couple years, obviously, without Melo. But what was it like in high school playing? I mean, I know you averaged a triple-double, or you definitely had to, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, my last year. Every year high school was, like, really different for me. Like, from freshman year to senior was, like, night and day for me. Just because actually when I was a freshman, I played just 2. I was like a shooting guard for a little bit because they had a senior point guard, and that was like the only way I could start. We had to do combo guard, so I played the 2 then. Then my sophomore year, my other brother came, Gelo came, so that was a different dynamic, playing with him. And then O's big brother, I don't know if you know him, Namdi, who's actually a good friend of mine. He passed away that year. So it was a whole different relationship when Big O came. And honestly, when he came, he wasn't even like good at. He just started playing. Like you can tell, he was super clumsy.
Really?
He was our 3rd string center actually. Like the year we went undefeated. And then our first dude, he got hurt, like blew his ACL out. Second dude, it's like something happened. He like ran away from school type.
Oh yeah.
And then O was just the last one up. And then I've never seen someone get that good that fast, bro. Like. he went from not being able to like do layups and stuff to like really just dunking shit, just catching
crazy.
it, hitting 15-footers, and then he panned out being number 6 overall. So it was like my little brother, man. I'm so proud of him.
Yeah, that's dope.
Really panned out too.
dope.
And Zoe, you mentioned kind of how those years of high school were different for you. As you started to get later on in your high school career, that's when I feel like not only like California, but like really the United States kind of started to know about you and your story. When would you say your game took that next step to where like, okay, like I actually know, like, I can really be really good?
Yeah, when I first knew I could make the NBA was like 7th grade. But I would say the turning point was probably my junior year.
Okay.
I just felt like I was just light years better than everybody,
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing point guard on offense and center on defense. So I just felt like high school was just already too easy for me.
Right.
But my senior year was like a movie. I mean, when my other brother came, Melo, and that was just a lot of fun. We had to move arenas to go to bigger places just because everything was sold out. People were like scoping tickets for like hundreds of dollars to go see high school kids. So it was pretty wild. Yeah.
Really a movie. I mean, shoot, that's how, obviously, we were, thousands of miles away, but everybody in Oklahoma knew about the Ball Brothers,
Right.
that's for sure. And that is it. I really seemed like a movie though, for real.
It was
that last
super
year.
fun, man, for sure.
Yeah, no. So I heard you talk about you made you knew you was going to be in the league since 7th grade, just being around your pops, being around your family. But like I said, I was going way later. I didn't know I was going to do that until later. I obviously thought and had a dream of being in it, but I didn't know it wasn't for sure for me and in my head. So for me, like, what made you think that? Like, how was it for that, for real?
Like I said, I've been playing since 6, and I was just always the best, to be honest. And my dad always believed in, like I say, I'm 7 years old. He don't want me playing against the best 7-year-old. He wants me to play against a terrible 14-year-old. Like, play against whoever you can that's older, like, no matter what. So early on, I was playing against older kids, and, I was just holding my own. And I felt like I was getting the size on me. Like, I was always one of the tallest kids, always one of the most athletic. In 7th grade, I was just like, damn. My dad was like, what you gonna do? I'm like, shit, I'm gonna make the league. He's like, all right. And that's when I started working out for real. So at this time, Melo was like, bro, 7th grade I was like 12, so Melo was 8. Bro's on the hills running at 8, so you can see where that shit got him at now. But man, he's really advanced. He's the one that I was just looking as a kid like, man, he's really out here with us doing this. Is crazy.
This is crazy. I got a little brother who's 13, so like, I mean, obviously we're not that close, but he's in the sand dunes with me on the Saturdays.
It's crazy,
it's
bro.
like, stuff I wasn't doing that early and that stuff,
Right.
but I was doing it a little bit later. He's doing it way earlier than us
For
now.
sure.
So I guess that's the pros and cons about being the older brother.
Nah, definitely. Got to set the way for him. But it's cool to look at, man, and I'm super proud of Melo as well, as far as he came.
That's fine.
What's the balance between like, man, I want these guys to do well, I want them to succeed, but also like, I need that competitive edge too. Like, I still am the best brother no matter what.
I can answer it first. I mean, for my household, it just went hand in hand. Like, if you want to be the best, you're going to give your best, like, no matter what. And Melo was actually, like, the easiest to play with, but the hardest to play with in high school because we would just butt heads sometimes. And it's just that alpha mentality. You both want to be the best. That's what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, you just, iron sharpens iron. And I think I've just done that with him my whole life.
Yeah, and I think for me as the older brother, like we both the oldest, and I think we just have like, I'm gonna speak for myself, but I feel like for me, I want to set the tone. Like, you want to set the tone as the oldest brother. You're gonna go through everything first, so you really trying to set the tone. You really hoping your younger brothers pass you, like, in reality, but you really want to set the tone and do the best for yourself too, instead of high bar for them that if they want to do this too, they got to catch it, but that you want to set the tone.
Melo obviously has had a really successful start to his career. At what point does that kind of relationship that you have with him start to come into play, as now you're also peers now too in the league? Are you picking up the phone and calling him? Are you guys talking about what move worked versus what didn't? Talk about that relationship now that you guys are.
I mean, I've been watching Melo play my whole life, so I don't even have to watch his game to know what he's going to do. But for me, that's just my little brother, man. Like, we talk about everything else besides hoop pretty much. Like, basketball, we both play differently, but kind of the same at the same time. So it's just we've been around each other my whole life. So basketball is just second nature to us. So we don't really have to touch in on that. Obviously, when I play him and stuff, I'm going to give his scout. I'm pretty sure he's doing my scout whenever I match up with him. Yeah. But it's really a blessing, man. Like, those are my favorite games, just going out and matching up with him. It's just like, damn, like, we both made it to the highest level. and we out here doing what we love.
Absolutely.
What was if you could spot one last question on high school? What would you could spot one of your favorite memories, whether it's playing with your brothers or anything in high school? What was a fun moment back then that you can remember that you always?
I would say winning the state title, because I had got there my sophomore year, and we basically lost to Stanley Johnson by himself. I don't know if you know him, but he was in modern day. It was like, bro, it was like 42 to like 48, and he had like 38.
I heard they didn't have a squad. It was just him.
He won literally every year, so it was really just him, to be honest. So we had played them my sophomore year, and we lost in state to them, and I was just like, damn. Then we went junior, we lost again. I fouled out in the fourth quarter, went to overtime, and I just had to watch us lose. So then the last year, senior year, we finally got there. We're supposed to kill this team, obviously, and we're down by like 10 or 12 in the first half, and I'm just like, yo, this is crazy. And then Melo and O, bro, out of nowhere just started going crazy. I'm like, damn, and they turned it around for us. They got us going, and then we ended up winning by like 30. But I would say those, transitions from sophomore to senior year, just that timeline was crazy for me.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
So what made you choose UCLA? I know it was obviously in your backyard and all of that, but I know at the time you committed, correct me if I'm wrong, you only had like 3 or 4 scholarship offers on the table at that point that you committed. Obviously, if you would have waited, it would have been way, way different. But what made you kind of be at peace with UCLA, and kind of what made you want to go there?
I mean, that shit was already decided when I was a kid, basically, by my dad. So I used to go to like UCLA camps when I was like 10, 12 years old, just playing at the camps, and he's like, my boy gonna come here, like regardless of what it is. So he didn't let me play AAU for a long time. He was just like, if you're that good, they're gonna come find you. And sure enough, came in my gym sophomore year, and I was just like, called him right back next day, like, I'm coming, and just committed like that. So it was already set in stone pretty much.
Right.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, Jalen Hands committed, so the day that UCLA was about to fly to come see me, I mean, a lot of people knew just from talking. When you're at camps and certain things, you were around these guys. I loved UCLA. Like, always in the back of my head, I love the weather out here, everything about it. So it was going to come down, but Jalen Hands committed. So I can only imagine playing at UCLA. So what was that year like? You know what I'm saying? I know big spotlight on y'all.
UCLA was crazy too, bro.
Up.
When I first got there, it was pretty dry, to be honest. Like, they was a little down, the years before. I remember my first couple of games, I'm looking in the stands, like I could see my parents, I could see everyone. Like, it's not packed or nothing. And then I would say probably after them first 3 games, just students started coming. We got all the way ranked to like 2 in the nation. Stars started coming out, and I was just like, damn, I feel like I'm in the league already.
Yeah.
And UCLA, that was a good time too, for sure.
That's clean. Couple of my favorite matchups was seeing you, obviously against Fox. I mean, everybody in the country and the world was watching those matchups. You got the win here. He got it in NCAA tournament, but it was a crazy matchup, both matchups. And so what were those type of battles like? I know you like playing against the best and matching up against the best. So what were those matchups like? That was the biggest stage too.
Yeah, I mean, man, me and Fox, we've been playing against each other since high school. I met him at USA camp.
Yeah.
And that actually that's a big moment in my career too, when I was going into my sophomore year. It was my first time stepping out of Chino Hills, going to go play. And I got invited to the USA camp, and it didn't make the team. Wasn't ranked or nothing. And that kind of drove me, to be who I became to be ultimately. But that's where I met Fox, and I knew then that he was different, you know what I'm saying? So just playing him every time, you got to obviously, be ready to play against one of the best players in the world. And he's fast as hell. I know you know that, as you are. So he has a lot of credit from me. He knows what it is when we play.
No, that's dope.
And those experiences at UCLA, I mean, Trae is probably one of the select few that can relate to how fast the media just started surrounding you guys. I mean, it seemed like you said, 3 games in, it was just a complete change. At that point, when did you start to realize that, okay, I need to start preparing myself for this next step and what that's going to be like and all of that?
To be honest with you, I was preparing in high school, just because we was kind of coming up around the time when social media started booming and Ball is Life and Overtime and stuff like that was coming out. So the media was already there at an early age. But for me, UCLA, I never, thought I was going to be there for 4 years. When I committed, me and my dad already told the coach, I'm here for these 8 months, and then, that's what it's going to be. So went in there, did what I had to do. I was just locked in from the jump. I didn't care who was really in the stands or not. I knew what I had to do. Blessed that it panned out how it did. But I was pretty prepared, just going in there already.
Trae, talk talk about your prep too, because I know the way that you and Lonzo were viewed, it wasn't the exact same by any means, but there was a lot of attention put on you guys from a very early onset of your college careers.
Yeah. I mean, mine was more about when I, like, got into college and I kind of had to show mine a little bit more. Zoe had that kind of hype coming in. You knew he was going to be a pro, like, from the jump. So he just had to maintain or just go all out like you did.
Yeah.
Like, and but for me, I had to go out and I had to play my way into the draft and play my way into going up. But the NCAA, it does that. It's a big platform.
Yeah.
You know what it is. You play in the tournament. It's a big platform for sure. But for me, like, I wanted so now we get into the league. Like, you coming in, you getting to play for, I mean, your hometown Lakers. You playing with the up and coming group with B.I., Julius. Like, coming in, what was the mindset like? I mean, obviously, I bet you got hella ticket requests from family and
for sure.
a lot of friends. So how was dealing with all that and just how your mindset, because your mindset is going to be different than what other people, I mean, expect of you, and it still may be higher than what even they think of you. But what was your mindset coming in, like, as a rookie?
Well, you know how it is. You don't really know what to expect, coming into something new, especially the NBA. For me, it was a lot different than college, personally, just because I think honestly, college is important too. You got to pick the right school to go to. You need to go who wants you, where you can rock out and do your thing like that. So NBA, you don't really get to decide that much. You know what I'm saying? It's just based off the draft and who needs what. But for me, it was just coming in and try to work as hard as I can and learn as much as I can. I would say it was a little tougher just because when I went to the Lakers my first year, we didn't have no vets, we didn't have like no leadership or nothing. It was just a bunch of young guys, a young coach, and we were all trying to figure it out, at the same time. So I don't think we ever really got on the same page my rookie year, but that kind of changed my second year when we got Rondo and Bron and some more vets around the team to really guide young guys. That's important, in the league, showing us the way and stuff like that. And it was going good, but we just all got hurt, that second year. But other than that, I don't regret nothing. Like you said, I played for my hometown team. That was a dream come true for me.
Yeah, and that was, I mean, going to my next question, because, like, you obviously playing with a young team. It's kind of like an AAU feel because everybody's young and you all around each other's age or whatever. But then you get guys like Rondo, like you said, and Bron come in. It's a whole different mindset change. Like, so what was the difference between, obviously, that, I mean, playing with the young team and then playing and those guys coming in? Like, did they ever talk to y'all? Was it a different, like, mindset type of thing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can just tell, obviously, with Brian in the gym, it's just a different feel, just off bat. But way more attention to detail. Like, our practices were way different. It was just literally night and day, man, night and day. And I really wish we could have seen what could have happened that second year, but everybody went down, starting with Bron first, and then me, then B.I., Rondo. Like, our whole team got hurt. So,
yeah.
Speaking about being young, so if I'm not mistaken, also you were one of, if not the very first person to enter into the league with your own signature shoe, with your own brand. Talk about that and like what that experience was, because Trae's a signature athlete, and he's talked about on his platform about what that process is like through being a signature athlete and all that. But it was, I would say, almost one of one to see you come in and it be, big baller brand, Triple B's.
It's your own brand, man.
Yeah, it's your own brand. So what was that experience like for you?
For me, I guess I didn't really understand it at first, just being a kid. We had the brand coming up when I was in high school. We didn't have the shoes and stuff, but we were selling T-shirts and stuff like that. So it was always around. I didn't really understand, kind of what it was. But looking back on it now, to me, it was a great idea. I just don't think it was executed right. And having the knowledge I have now, I think it would have been done better. But, we try to swing for the fences. And like you said, we tried something that hasn't been done before. And to me, it could have reached a different potential for sure, especially with Melo coming up behind us. But the idea was good. Just the plan wasn't in place yet because we just didn't have any blueprint for it.
Right. Yeah, you was switching out shoes.
Yeah.
And I heard a story about you switching shoes every quarter or something like that.
Yeah, that was in summer. I don't know if you know, in summer league though. So I played the first 2 games, but it was like the prototypes. It wasn't the official shoe yet.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
So I was playing in those, and they were like just ripping every quarter. So like Demo was in the stands bringing me shoes and shit in the backpack.
Shout out Demo.
And I played the 2 games, and I'm just like, they're not ready yet. And that's why I started wearing like Nikes one game, and then Jordans and Under Armour, and just switching up every game.
Man, your summer league games was crazy too. I mean, I remember I went to some of them summer league games, watched you and Fox, like. Cause I've been a sponge of watching guys and watching guys play. And I've always been a fan of yours. So like, them summer league games wasn't no. That was like a pre-start to.
Nah, summer league was lit. I think we had probably the best summer league team ever, though. To be honest.
I know.
We had a stacked team for sure, and we had lost like our first 2 games. And I remember talking to a Coach Judd at the time. He brought me in. He's like, "Hey, man, like you just, you trying to think and run the offense and stuff like that. Like, I just need you to play freely." And once I heard that, I was like, "All right, shit, we gonna play my way then." And
Yeah.
no plays, just started taking off and just running fast break every time, pretty much.
Man, that's a PG's dream when you hear that.
Man, so I know you went to UCLA. I know you got drafted by the Lakers. I mean, for a fan, it just seems like that was like a storybook. Like somebody just wrote that down and just pre-planned it almost. While you were in the thick of that moment, did you ever kind of take a step back and you were like, man, like I'm here in my backyard. I'm playing for the Lakers I grew up watching. Do you think about that now a lot, or was it kind of just you were caught in the moment, just trying to make sure you was developing well? Like, what was that process about?
I would say in the moment, bro, it didn't even really hit me like that, to be honest. Like, my dad had been preaching this my whole life. Like, you're going to go to UCLA, you're going to be first pick, you're going to go to the Lakers. Like, that's what it's going to be. And shit, he was damn near right on point. So for me, it was just about just staying in the lab and just getting better. Like, my dad, I owe him everything just because he made it so easy for me to get better. Like, he was with me every day, keeping me out the way of bullshit like that, on the side and stuff like that, and just keeping me focused and just keeping really just my inner family around me, and that's it, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of credit goes to him for sure.
For sure.
I mean, as a player in the sport, bro, like a lot of people don't understand like the mental side of it, like, and what we go through as players, especially just for us as just trying to make sure we perform well, right? So what has it been for you? How has it been for you mentally going through like some of the things you've been through, as far as like obviously your people scrutiny, your family always talking or whatever, or injuries or what you've been through? Like, how has your mental been, and how have you worked on it as far as throughout your whole career?
I mean, shit, when I met Bron, he told me a very important thing that stuck with me all the way until then, and it was always keep the main thing the main thing. So for me, it was always, just basketball. Basketball can fix everything, you know what I'm saying? No matter what's going on outside, just get better, get in the gym, and just keep working on your craft. And for me, it was kind of crazy because I was a shooter my whole life, hitting threes my whole life. I come in the league, and now I can't shoot no more. So that was a wake-up for me. Then I had a, daughter really early. That was a wake-up for me. And then the shit that happened with, my dad and BBB and the Allen stuff, that was a wake-up for me. So it was a lot of stuff in my life all kind of piled up at one time. And for me, it was just get in the lab, bro. Get in the lab and figure it out. And I owe a lot of credit to my coach in New Orleans, who was my shooting coach. I owe him a lot because he turned my career around for sure.
How do you feel like he set you up for, you playing on the Pelicans, but also going to play for the Bulls and really improving your shooting percentage?
Man, Coach Fred, like I said, I owe him everything. I remember first coming to New Orleans. I get there, I'm working out, I'm shooting around, he's rebounding for me. I'm doing what I always do. About 3-4 days goes by, and he's like, yo, like, we about to change this. I'm like, shit, like, season about to start. Like, what you mean about to change it? He's like, I'm going to be here. I'm like, all right. Like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So I just remember shooting. Man, he used to bring his son back at night all the time. He would be in there running around. But I respect him so much just because, people have families, bro, at the end of the day. And for you to give me that time, no extra charge or nothing like that, you just come in there to help me out, like, that means a lot to me. So I can't tell you how many nights he helped BI too as well. We was in there every night, man, just shooting. And it started off weird because it was just like, yo, like the first 2 weeks, I'm like, man, fuck this. Like, I'm about to just go back. But it's just like, nah, just stay with it. Yeah. And then, repetition, picks up with timing, and then it locks in. So a lot of shout out to Fred Vincent for sure.
Absolutely. That's clean. Was there anything that, obviously you talked about keeping the main thing, but how do you feel like your mental approach to the game changed? Obviously, you had to grow up really quick, kind of from high school to college to now. What were kind of some of those steps that you took to mature in your mentality and making sure you're taking care of yourself mentally, but kind of just prepping for the long NBA season, the media pressure, all of that?
I would say at the time, friends and family, bro. I had good people around me to help me through, tough times in my life. So looking back at it, yeah, it was a lot of shit going on, but in the moment, like, I never felt like I was, mentally out of it. Like, I never was like, damn, I don't want to hoop no more, or this is too much, I need to give my phone away, like nothing like that. So just had good people around me, man, to get me through the tough times for sure.
Trae, what about you? What have you felt like, you going on year 6 now. What about the mental part of the game have you feel like you've really improved upon since you got into the league? And what are some methods that you take to make sure you locked in all the time?
Man, I think it's hard. You can't really prepare for it. You got to go through some shit to really figure it out. Like, it's nothing you can really prepare for. I mean, people can tell you how things are going to be, but until you go through certain things, it's hard to really prepare for it. So, like, I mean, I feel him when he says, like, he's been through a lot. Like, we all, man, some of us been through more shit than others, but we all have to go through certain things to really feel how to get out of those things. It's hard to really prepare for it if you ain't really experienced it, so.
And I'm glad you said that, too, because I think as a spectator, obviously, I'm not and will never be in either of you guys' shoes, but I think it's important to the general public to understand that how much of the game is actually between the ears. One of our buddies, Max Hazard, has a great saying of, like, people don't realize how much of this game is in between the ears versus it is physical. So I'm glad you both acknowledge that and just understanding that it really is an important part of making sure you're ready to go. So
yeah, I think piggybacking on that as well, too, just to extend a little more, like, it is a game at the end of the day. Like, it's just basketball. So no matter how hard, stuff is getting, it's not like we on the front lines in the Army or some shit, going out there and ready to die every day. Like,
absolutely.
So for me, it's always could be worse. So I always look at it like that at the end of the day. Like, I'm still playing a game that I love for a living. So you can't get me no better than that.
Absolutely.
That's the way to look at it. So you with the Bulls, you get hurt. Y'all number 1 in the East at the time. What do you think y'all season would have been like had you not been hurt? How you feel about the team? Y'all have a squad. Like, how'd you feel about it?
I mean, it's going to be a big what-if. I mean, for me, I feel bad just for the GMs just because I feel like they made the perfect team around me. And I felt like I was involved that was the most I've ever been involved in an organization. And I finally got the perfect team, that I felt like to fit my game and play my way and really just do, what I wanted to do. So that injury, that I'm still going through it right now. But that one messed me up early just because I feel like we really had a chance and never got to see what it was.
When you do come back, is there going to be a different mentality? Is there going to be a more grateful appreciation to the game when you come back? I know you already appreciate it, but is there a different mentality?
Nah, man, I think I played hoop the same way my whole life, bro. Like, I always just loved playing basketball. So it's just basically something that got taken away from me that's gonna be a whole new joy again. Like, I'm gonna be hella happy to be back out there, but I never took the game for granted. So for me, it's just like, just giving your love back for sure.
They're obviously, I can speak as a fan, the game misses you, bro. Like, the game absolutely misses you. And I know your peers around the league are also a huge fan. It is understated by saying that you're one of the best passers in the league without question. What is exciting about this journey that you're going on now to, whenever you come back, I'm Zoe, but I'm also Zoe 2.0. Like, I'm trying to improve just like I would if I wasn't injured.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I wish I never got injured, to be honest.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to come back, but that's just, what's in front of me. And I just got to tackle it head on. And whenever that time comes, I'm going to be, blessed to be back out there doing what I love. But like I said, the mindset's going to stay the same, go out there and play for my team and be the best person I can be.
Absolutely. Yeah. Going on that, I think whenever you did go down, it became very apparent that was something, like you said, that your team was built around, for you to be able to pass the rock and do it at a high level. When do you think you started maturing as a passer? Was it when you got in the league? Was it in college? Was it in high school? Was it something you felt like you just had a knack for, or was it something you really were in the lab, like, working on and stuff?
Nah, to be honest, I ain't never worked, like, on my passing. I just,
Damn.
like, my game, bro, is like, I tell Demo this all the time, like, when I used to go to camps and stuff as a kid, like, we was doing drills and shit, like, I'm trying to go to the bathroom and just sit in there till the fives is coming on. Because I know, like, in the drills, these cones, like, I'm going to lose the ball, 2-ball dribbling, I can't do none of that. But if you throw someone in front of me, like, I'm just going to naturally be able to play because my whole life I've always just played. So that just came from a young age, bro, playing with my brothers, my dad telling me, before you dribble, always look up. And if it's open, throw it every single time, bro. You come off this pick and roll, as he knows as a guard, it's going to be the same reads every time, bro. So just see what's open and make sure you get it there however you got to. So I just grew up playing like that.
Absolutely.
Bro, that's tough. That's crazy you say you ain't never watching a passing and you be a good with passer.
Because it's art. You know what I'm saying?
Some people, I guess, got it natural. Like, that shit is...
It's just a lot of games, bro. When Demo came back home he was overseas, he came back home and he started training me. And I was training with him. I couldn't do, like, none of the ball handling.
That's crazy.
Couldn't do none of the passing. He's like, bro, who have you been working out with? I'm like, bro, I just play. Like,
That's good. I mean, some dudes you can hoop, man. Some dudes different. But I got two more quick questions, man. So throughout your whole career, from beginning to end, and we both PGs, we both have to think the game different. It's probably the toughest position. It's for sure toughest in basketball, but one of the toughest in all sports, being a PG. So what has been the biggest learning curve from the beginning of high school when you didn't have your Melo and you didn't have your other brother Gelo, like, to now? What has been the biggest learning curve as a PG for you?
The biggest learning curve, I would say, I learned this early too. Like my dad told me, point guards is judged on wins and losses. Strictly, that's it. Like, you either win the game and you did your job, or you lose and you didn't, no matter what you did. So for me, it was always like that. That's why I think I play how I play. Like, I don't really play for stats at all. I just play, try to make the right play, guard who I got to guard, be in the spots I got to be in, and just, live with the results. So I would say I carried that throughout my career.
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's important. we talk about all the time about the narrative that's put out there, but you're right. It's about wins and losses, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Just how you doing now? Like, when it comes to recovery, getting back into it, like, how has the mental been? Like, right now, what are you doing to make sure you right everything about you?
Just taking it day by day, bro. I just had a really big surgery, hopefully the last one I ever have to get. But, it's a long process. Going to be out I'm already out this whole next season. So, when I first got hurt, we didn't really know what it was. I was seeing all type of different doctors and stuff, and I was kind of just going up and down. And that was really hard for me because I just didn't know what the next day was going to be like. And at least now, I got the surgery. We got a plan moving forward. We've been on plan. I'm on track. So
that's good.
Hopefully everything works out. But, I just leave it up to God, man, and just do the best I can and live with the results, for real.
Absolutely. Man, that's fire, man. So that's another episode of From the Point by your favorite point, man, with Lonzo Ball. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.